Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens. I'm always tempted to say welcome back to Brooksburg Zoo, but yeah, Brooksburg Zoo is already closed a long time ago. Okay, so we are in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and last week was a very special week for this zoo because last week we opened our zoo finally to the public, and you can also see our guests in here that are already leaving the zoo. Yeah, they already do have enough. No, that's just not that much to see yet in the zoo, because we have just our first habitat in here, which you can see right now. We built this beautiful habitat for the binturongs, and I'm very happy with the habitat, how it looks, and with all the climbing structures in here, with the planting, the little waterfall and stuff like that, those temple pieces. Yeah, I really like it. The binturongs do like it as well, but unfortunately not as much as I do. They are really difficult. They are little divas. So yeah, they are not climbing at all. They can, I checked that. Everything is accessible for the animals. Well, not everything. Everything that fits their hitbox is accessible for the animals, so this means the climbing frames as well, but they just don't use them, and I don't know why. I do have the same problem in my DLC zoo, which is Raja Hutan. You can visit the new episode, you can watch the new episode this Wednesday, where I'm also going to build for the binturong, and I do have the same problem. The climbing frames are accessible for the animals, but they only use them when I force them to use them. So when I put them right onto the climbing frames, and the first thing that they do when I do that, they climb back to the ground and yeah, live on the ground the whole time. So if you had any ideas what I could do to make them actually use those climbing frames, then I'm so happy if you leave a comment and tell me what I can do, because I just don't have any ideas anymore. So before we start into what is going to happen in today's video, thank you so much for appreciating the last video, the binturong habitat, and yeah, thank you for that. That makes me so happy, and I hope you guys don't forget to hit the like button for this video today as well, and you will enjoy it as well as you did the last one. So today we are going to build the next habitat for our next animals. So I told you guys I was thinking about having a habitat for the Small Clawed Otters or the Lar Gibbon or the Siamang, whatever. And I decided we are going for the Lar Gibbon and the Small Clawed Otters. I wanted to have this combination because in the last few zoos that I did, I barely had some habitats where animals did actually cohabitat. Is that correct what I just said? Where you do... Okay, let me... Oh my god, I can't talk today. Yeah, I know, not just today, always. So what I wanted to say is that I barely had habitats where I did have more than one species in there. So that is what I wanted to say. And so I decided I want to change that here in the zoo. I want to do co-joint habitats whenever it is possible. So that we don't just have an animal selection. I always enjoy zoos where I can see habitats where there's more than just one species, because this is so great for all the animals that are living in there, because yeah, if you have another species in the same habitat, it is also animal enrichment. because they interact with another, and yeah, that's great for the animals, and it is also great for the visitors because there is usually a lot more going on in those habitats. So yeah, to make a long story short, we're going to have the habitat for the Lar Gibbon and co-joined by the Small Clawed Otters. I do know a very similar situation that we do have in Germany in the Tierpark in Berlin. It is a pretty new habitat. I think it just opened last year, where they do have monkeys, small clawed otters, and also the babirusa. I was thinking of putting the babirusa in that habitat as well, but in the end I'm happy that I didn't, because the gibbons in this habitat are very, very happy with it. The otters not so much. They are, yeah, let me say it like this, they are very much okay with it. They don't mind it. Happy? No. Because they needed more land area, and they also needed more deep water. I tried to give them everything that was possible, made a few changes in the end, and they are, as I said, they are okay with it. They are not jumping for joy, but they are okay with it. And I'm still planning not to deselect the animal welfare. I'm going to make it work for all of the animals that we are going to put in this zoo. Okay, so let's go into today's habitat and what I'm building right now. I took some inspiration from Google once again, and I actually Googled a very particular habitat that I also seen in real life already in Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando, Florida. They do have a very cool habitat for the gibbons, where they do have some kind of jungle ruin in there that is framed by a scaffold, which the gibbons can use as a climbing frame. And I wanted to have something in here as well, and for that using the bamboo pieces and building something out of it. You already could see the ladder that was in those Indonesian pieces. I'm using many of those pieces from the Tropical DLC because it fits the Indonesian or Southeast Asian theme so well, and I think the first area that we are going to have here in the zoo is completely dedicated to Indonesia or Southeast Asia, because yeah, I love that. I really love that. So what did I want to say? This is always the problem. I'm telling you something that I'm losing. That I'm losing what I was actually trying to say, and then I get totally lost and yeah, can't come back anymore. Okay. Oh yeah. What I wanted to say, I was talking about the climbing frames, then I saw that I was using the ladder or selecting the ladder that is also in those Indonesian pieces or tropical pieces. And I was thinking at that point, well, we could use that ladder for the climbing frame for the gibbons as well, for the scaffold. I did so, but it caused a lot of problems, so I had to... Yeah, that is a spoiler, but I don't care. I had to delete all of the ladders because the gibbons couldn't climb on them. Actually, they blocked the climbing frames, so yeah, had to delete them so that the gibbons actually could use the climbing frames. Was a bit weird, but okay. So using those rock pieces here, or those temple pieces from the South American DLC, to give it just a little ruin vibe. Yeah, make it look nice. Then I placed it a little bit different, so yeah, as we want the habitat to look. I wanted the whole thing to be a little bit lower than our visitor path, so that you can see the animals a little bit better, or you're looking down to the animals, which I'm usually not a fan of, because yeah, you usually shouldn't do that when you plan a zoo, and especially when you plan a habitat for herbivores. Especially when you do something for deer, gazelle, antelope, whatever. You shouldn't plan a habitat where you look down to the animals, because that's not that great for the welfare of the animals. Yeah, because many predators do come from above. So if you all the time have someone or something looking down to you, that gives you a lot of stress. So that is something that you shouldn't do. I don't know if it is great for predators as well, but I would assume it wouldn't be that bad for a predator, but you shouldn't do that at all, usually. So, yeah. But in this case, I thought it would be okay, because the monkeys are climbing, so they would be further away from our visitors, and also much more higher than our visitors are in the end, so that would be okay for them. And the Asian small clawed otters are predators themselves, so they wouldn't mind it as much, I think. Yeah, I also did have to cut out some stuff of the video once again, because this once again took a lot of time to build. I think it was about 6 or 7 hours once again, with the whole building, the whole creation of the scaffold, the backstage area and stuff like that. Yeah, took some time, but once again I think it paid off in the end. Yeah, creating a new fence using those netting pieces. I really do love those netting pieces. I want to create a habitat and using some kind of an aviary and using those netting pieces. I never did that, but I want to do that so bad, because it looks so good. I wish we could actually have birds in there, which we could use that for, but yeah, maybe the cranes. Maybe the cranes, that would be something that would be possible. Oh, as we are building the backstage area right now, I was creating 2 separate backstage areas. You can see that in a minute. That are actually combined. Separate but combined. Well, how does that work? Yeah, I think you know what I mean. We have a door between those 2 backstage areas. They need to be combined, because we don't have the option in Planet Zoo, and probably will never have, that you can build more than 1 entrance gate into the habitat. So therefore we need to have a connecting door, so that the animals can use both. I wish it was a little bit different. I wish we could have more than 1 entrance gate. If that was possible, we could have a backstage area for. We could have had a backstage area for the otters, which is on the right side, right here, where they are entering on the lower level or on the ground level. And we could have had a different backstage area here on the left side for the gibbon, which you can see we do have an entrance for them on the upper level so that they can climb outside. This would be completely perfect because the gibbons wouldn't be able to go into the indoor area where the otters are, and on the other hand, the otters wouldn't be able to go into the backstage area for the gibbons because they just can't climb. So would have been perfect. Doesn't work. It's okay. We are going back into the backstage area at the end of the video. I just did create the frame for it, the layout of it, and the interior is done at the end of the video. I just wanted to go into building the scaffold and doing some plant work and stuff like that. I also do have already an idea for the next animal that is going to move in, and I hope you guys will like it. You can let me know in the comment section. I was thinking about the Asian water monitor, and as we are in a more tropical environment here, or at least a warmer environment, I thought it would be possible if we are going to have an outdoor habitat for the animals as well. So I'm planning on having an indoor habitat and also an outdoor habitat for those animals. Thinking about some habitats that I saw in the Zoo of Miami, and hopefully I can create something like that in here. So, but now it is time to create the scaffold out of these bamboo pieces. Which also reminded me of a holiday in Thailand, where I've been many years ago. There you could see those scaffolds with the bamboo all around the city. So everywhere they were creating something, you could see those bamboo scaffolds. And I do have a problem with animals climbing or not climbing, because it was pretty hard to get the gibbons actually climb on the scaffold. So all the pieces are climbable, they are going to climb on it. You can see it in the real-time part at the end of the video, but it took them some time and I had to do some adjustments so that they actually did do that. And it was quite a little bit frustrating, I have to say. Especially when you take so much time to create something like this, and then your animals are just not going to get into that. That is something like, as if you bake a cake for someone, for someone's birthday, and then you gift it to them and they tell you, "Oh, thank you very much, that looks beautiful, but I don't like cake." Yeah. That's how I felt when the gibbons moved in. Therefore, I'm very happy when we are going to build something for the Asian water monitors in next week's episode, because I think we might not have those problems. Or I need to do something a little bit different and get the animals in a little bit sooner into the habitats, which I usually don't do. Animals moving in is always the last thing that I do in my builds, usually, but maybe it is time to change that up. I don't know. Maybe they do have a problem with the rope pieces. Do you guys know, can the animals climb on the rope pieces? I thought they might have, because they also can climb on ropes. I don't know. But did I tell you already? I don't know, because I had to start the voiceover once again because I lost some of my talking points. Did I tell you that I had to remove the letters from the Indonesian pieces because the gibbons couldn't climb on those letters? Well, if I didn't, I had to. That is one of the adjustments that I had to do. Well, so closing the habitat off on the left side, that is something that I'm also going to do later on the right side as well, trying to have lots of the plants around there so that you actually can't see too much of the wall. Which also leads to that the traversable area of for the animals is a little bit smaller, because they just can't use that part where all of the plants are. But yeah, it is what it is. So here I was creating something that they also do have in the animal kingdom. They do have those huge towers for the gibbons where they actually could climb onto, and that are also placed on the path of the visitors, I think, so that the animals could actually leave their habitat and yeah, could leave it but couldn't leave it. You know what I mean? They can get out of the habitat but can't get to the visitors. That is also something that they do have in the Netherlands, in Uberhans Dierenpark for the orangutans. So that they can have a little more climbing area, which is very clever, so that you don't have to give them that much space on the ground, but give them more climbing options. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, and also I haven't seen some of the animals using those platforms here. They are connected, we do have climbing frames, they could use it, it is accessible for them, but they just don't use it. Maybe I should have gotten this Iamang in here, maybe it would have been a little bit different, I don't know. But in the end, it looks pretty cool, and as I said, the animals are happy, and that is all that I wanted to have. Oh yeah, and I told you that the animals in Animal Kingdom, the gibbons and the orangutans in the Netherlands can actually walk over the visitors path. That is not going to happen here because I thought yeah, it would look weird, or we don't have the space to put one of those pillars on the visitors path, so I didn't do that in here. But I actually can show you how this would work, and that you don't get the notification that one of your animals is escaped when you are going to watch the video on Wednesday in my DLC zoo Raja Hutan that I already told you, where the binturongs are going to move in. There I will have something similar for the binturong, where they could actually walk over the heads of our visitors. Once again, they don't do that until I force them to do that, but it works. Not just in theory, but also practically. I also did that already in Brooksburg Zoo. So if you have seen the series Brooksburg Zoo, or if you haven't, look for the episode where I built a habitat for the gibbons. there you can see how you can do something like that with platforms that are outside of the actual habitat, but you don't get any notifications that your animal escaped. Yeah, here we are already in the backstage area. Putting down the gate on the right side because I wanted to make sure that our keepers would be able to walk onto the actual habitat and take care of the animals. I wasn't quite sure if the connection gate was big enough for our keepers to go from the left indoor habitat to the right indoor habitat, so I wanted to make sure that they can go onto the outdoor habitat, so I decided we're going to have the keeper's gate on the right side. And therefore, as I told you, we can't have another entrance gate. I built a fake gate on the other side, which is pretty simple. If you're using the metal door, just use those metal frames and the big ones and the small ones. Create a door with those wooden beams, metal beams. Yeah, exactly like that. And for the silver part on the lower side of the door, I always use this, the silver sign and the cables on top of it. And there you have it. Looks like a real door, almost. Yeah, making a connection from the scaffold to the inside of the habitat for the gibbons. And creating another climbing frame for the inside for the animals. Which makes me think maybe those bamboo pieces that I put in there, in between those bamboo pieces between the bamboo pieces, yeah, perfect. Between the bamboo beams, that is a great word. Well, maybe those are the problem, that the animals don't like or can't walk on them. Okay, I have to look into that when I've done the voiceover. Maybe that will fix the problem. I meant these pieces that I'm using right here. They look pretty cool, but maybe the animals can't climb on them. They can climb on the bamboo, but this might block the rest of the climbing frame. I will check that and will let you know in the next episode, but I think that might be the problem. So doing a small backstage area, nothing too spectacular. And after that, I think we are almost done with today's habitat. Yeah, and I definitely have to get back into those backstage habitats or backstage buildings, because I have to do a lot of the detailing on the outside, which I haven't done already. So doesn't matter with the building that we did in the last episode, because that is something that no one of the visitors will come close to. Yeah, this one right here. But especially for the one that we were building in today's episode, it is very close to the visitors' path when they are going to exit the zoo. So we definitely have to go into that and make it look a little bit more prettier. So that is something that I can't forget about. Yeah, some bananas, some watermelons and some pumpkins. And then we are done with the indoor part, I think. Yeah, just another door. And that's it. Yeah, the last thing to do is some of the animal enrichment. Oh, that was something that the otters were complaining about as well, because they didn't have enough animal enrichment. Not enough food enrichment, which is pretty difficult, because the only food enrichment items that that is there for the otters is an ice cube and the underwater feeder. And I couldn't place the underwater feeder because the water wasn't deep enough for the feeder. So yeah, that was not an option. So yeah, I had to place 2 of those ice cubes, because I couldn't place anything other in there for food enrichment for the otters. A great thing that you can do, that I do all the time, is when you use the mud enrichment item for the animals, you can sink that into the water slightly a little bit, so your animals will absolutely be able to use that. Even though they will walk across it, they will get dirty and muddy, and yeah. And if you place it underwater a little bit, you can't see the wooden frame around it, which makes it look so much more natural. And I really do like that, and I'm doing that all the time when I use this piece. Yeah, and with that being said, we are at the end of today's video. Let's get into the real-time part and have a look at our animals. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did so, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any further episodes, and tune in next week when we are going to continue to build in Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and we'll add another animal. So bye guys, take care.